Hi, welcome to Business Influencers. I'm your host, Chris Salem. Hope everyone is having a great week. You found us here at the TALRadio platform. And again, I hope you're enjoying all the wide variety of different subject matter content that is here on the TALRadio platform. We've been around for over 4 years and pioneered the business channel here at TALRadio. And again, we want to extend gratitude to our existing listeners that have been with us from day one. And if you are new to TALRadio and Business Influencers, you could also follow us and subscribe to our Apple, Spotify, and our YouTube channel. Also there, you can watch the video portion of the show on YouTube and then the audio portion on Apple and Spotify. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. It is a membership program taking out all the noise out of social media. You get to generate genuine and authentic relationships with the people you choose to interact with. If you'd like some more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we have a wonderful show for you planned today. We're going to be talking about the journey from the tobacco field to the world. And we're here today with Buddy Burke. Buddy is someone I've gotten to know, and he is a friend, and he's going to share some exciting information here today, especially for you Gen Z entrepreneurs and business leaders that are out there. Buddy is a former Air Force and commercial pilot who's now dedicated to helping international Gen Z entrepreneurs find their voice. As a founding pilot at Virgin America, Buddy learned what it takes to launch something bold and experience that inspires passion for startups and innovation. Today, he mentors young founders around the world, helping them refine their pitches and communicate with clarity and confidence. He also lectures at UC Berkeley's Sutardja Center, if I said that correctly, for Entrepreneurship and Technology, where he works closely with emerging leaders shaping the future of business. And Buddy joins us now here today from Walnut Creek, California, to share his insights on how the next generation can now reimagine entrepreneurship. And without further ado, we welcome Buddy Burke to the show. Buddy, how you doing today?
I'm about 9.8, and I compliment you on being able to pronounce Sutardja Center so quickly and so rapidly. It took me about 4 years before I finally was able to figure it out.
And I can tell you, I am I will butcher certain names. I am not. So I'll take that as a compliment at heart, because usually I might have butchered that. But nonetheless, I love this. So let's just talk about before we get into some things that you're going to share of value for Gen Z. Let's talk about your own journey. Your journey, it could be from the tobacco field here, to the world and everything in between, what led you up throughout your career, this great career that you've had, and now you're in this position now to give back, especially for Gen Z.
Oh, yeah. I have to tell you, I grew up in southern Georgia, dirt roads, outhouses, all that stuff. And actually, it was a blessing, and I really realized that I was just a really lucky guy. So lucky. My mom and dad both like to read, and we had a set of encyclopedias in the house. That was my gateway to the world, along with a stack of National Geographics and a monthly subscription a little bit later on. So it was so easy to be curious. You're out there doing mindless activity like cropping tobacco. It's all sticky, dirty, smelling. You get sick constantly. But I could always dream through National Geographics, and man, what a big world it must be. And it wasn't till later the Air Force came along, college. People didn't typically go to college where I'm from. It was pretty unusual, actually. And fortunately, I had an aunt way over in California from South Georgia who had gone to college when she was young, and a little bit of an inspiration there. And one day, we had a math teacher who gathered about 6 kids and said, you know what? You guys aren't that dumb. Why don't you go to college? I said, what? Yeah. And actually, my brother was in that group, 4 years older. I followed suit there, and then Air Force came along, and presto, there was suddenly flying jets for the U.S. Air Force, and then Pan Am opened the world. Then sitting in the cockpit, it got a little bit dull. I was getting restless. I eventually wound up at American Airlines. They treated me very well. It was a wonderful experience, great company. I see so many things they did so well. Took a jump to Virgin America because I was just getting restless. Saw some things they did well, some things they said, well, that's really not the best way to go about it, and they had some struggles. So, somebody came along and said, heard you do public speaking. Well, I'm enjoying it. I'm doing this. Apple came along and said, can you start a program public speaking here for our retail employees? I said, what? You kidding me? I'm off the tobacco patch. But I did. It's been fun. Someone said, hey, your reviews are great. Started at Notre Dame University of South Bend, Indiana. Then I got contacted from UC Berkeley, said, here, you do this at Notre Dame. That was a few years ago. Life's been fun. And that's it.
I love it. I love how you in a short period of how you took it from where you started, your roots in Southern Georgia, all the way now, to Northern California, a pilot for all these years, all these great experiences, all these great places that you've flown to and had these experiences, and now teaching people how to communicate that effectively in either pitches, presentations, or getting buy-ins. And so important with the younger generation now that they've grown up in this world of technology, and having these one-to-one conversations is something that's a little foreign to them compared to your generation and my generation, buddy.
Absolutely. And for example, this week we are doing what we call an entrepreneur boot camp at UC Berkeley. We have wonderful students from all over the world coming in, every continent except, not many from Antarctica lately, but we have them all over the world. And just
unless they're penguins.
Yeah. So they have these incredible ideas, and it's so funny. You see the change during 1 week, just 1 week, going through this entrepreneur boot camp. And a big component of that is, of course, presenting the ideas. Best ideas in the world are going nowhere if you cannot discuss it and talk about it. And the advance in 5 days that you see in these mostly young people, Gen Z, is phenomenal. They start off, I got this idea, I think maybe sometime, and they'll use a lot of words to describe what they're trying to go about. They team up and then discuss, how do we narrow this focus down, and how do we sharpen the message? They begin, and ultimately it results in a 5-minute pitch, which they do on Saturday, and it's a bit of a competition. They start off, they're about 10 minutes into doing their pitches because they're bouncing around all different directions. You see them gel. They're working hard. Matter of fact, they're staying up till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning each night of this boot camp. And you see this pitch of theirs just gel. And then before you know it, actually as late as Thursday, they're still bouncing around a little bit. But then Friday, it comes together. It just comes together, and you see these marvelous things. We have investors that come in and listen to them, just hear these great ideas. And the pure beauty of it is when you see someone from Latin America teaming up with a German, and then someone else from Korea, and this cross-section of ideas is a miracle. It's kind of like you get the gas flame, you get the balance of oxygen and gas just right, you get that perfect flame. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, love it. And what can you share, here today, with, the younger leaders that listen to this show? I mean, through TALRadio, the Touch of Life organization does a lot of philanthropic work, giving back, and especially to a lot of the young professionals. And what would be some things that you could share here that you feel could benefit them, both on a professional, personal level?
Absolutely. Do not give up. Don't give up. I've seen the ones who tend to do well, be successful with their dreams, their ideas. It starts off this idea that people go, I don't know about that. And actually, I even think that when I hear it. You see, they claw away, shift, pivot, turn different directions. They get rejected. For example, there's a young man who, it's incredible. He graduated from this program 2 years ago. His name's Sai. Got to know him pretty well. He had this idea to do basically a software platform. And he struggled. He went through so many iterations. Then he got so many doors slammed in his face. He said he was doing like 70 approaches per week, 7-0. He was doing this, getting doors slammed. Then he got picked up by this amazing organization called Y Combinator. And matter of fact, they like 1 person out of 100 actually gets accepted into Y Combinator. Wouldn't you know it? They said, he went through like 17 ideas, different things. He just wanted to really be in the business world. Well, he said, wait, I'm sure I rejected. They asked me about this idea number 17, and I knew it was a dud idea. He said, I didn't even think it was good. But they called me that night and said, okay, you're chosen. Here's $500,000. Get rolling. And I said, well, why'd you choose me? And said, we just liked you. We knew your perseverance. We liked that. And now he just about a week ago received $35 million in funding from them because of an idea he has. And I can't explain exactly what it was because I didn't dive in deeply enough on the technological side and don't have it, but amazing. Jump like that. And then I think, another one I love, young lady named Bailey who just clawed away at things. She was actually a rhetoric major. She was homeschooled, wound up at UC Berkeley. Her dad was a firefighter. She said the firefighters simply don't have the means to communicate amongst themselves and with outside agencies like safety crew, ambulances, police, all these other folks. And she's from a very fire-prone area in Northern California. She went off, took a job at let's say an internet safety company, or a security company. And she worked there just to learn things about the internet. In the meantime, she taught coding to herself. She taught how to code. She learned about GIS, GPS information, how that works. She started her own company called Perimeter to define the edges of the fires. Well, she was sleeping in bathtubs under tables for about 1.5 years. She lost all kind of weight. And then she finally, through struggle, realized firefighters are not her market. She realized it's the state agencies that oversee it. California is extremely bureaucratic, so she was still bumping her head against the wall. She went to Nevada. That sounds interesting. Let's take a look at that. So she got a contract with a couple counties in state of Nevada. Then she realized the agencies in the states that were really open to this were in Florida, Alabama, the southeastern states. And so we love this. So she's now, I think it's 12 different states. Finally getting, and by the way, a big tipping point for her, she said, was when I was banging on doors, pitching, and someone told me, a mentor said, no, they're not doing you a favor, you're doing them a favor. She said, once I got to that point, money started flowing in. I have more money than I can use now, so I have to say no to funding. And so she's rolling. In the process, she wound up being Forbes 30 under 30 and Miss San Francisco top 5 for Miss California, and dear friend.
Wow, fabulous. Great information. I hope everybody listening can relate, and Buddy has so many great stories here, and hope everyone is receiving value. What would be some of the things like, you could share, don't give up with something. Yeah, you got to persevere.
Never.
You got to be resilient.
Never.
Anything else that you feel like, even when you were working with the Apple retail, like some things that you felt like helped them, anything that could, maybe cross over to some other areas that the Gen Z could benefit from?
Yeah, interpersonal communication is critical. Everyone's trying to create apps for this and that, but it still comes down, put it this way, if you can relate to people in person, one-on-one, you're going to stand out. You will stand out, whether it be sales, business connections, whatever. You can do that. And I see it every day. And I saw it. It was fun working Apple retail as well as teaching retail public speaking. But Apple, they actually are pretty good at that. They're great at choosing people and milking that out, that aspect of your personalities out, because they hire for personality. They don't hire for technical knowledge, which I actually took the job trying to get some technical knowledge. And
that's a good thing. I mean, that's a skill set, because you're engaging people like in the mall, and they're coming in and they maybe even thought about buying an iPad or an iPhone, an iWatch, but now your interaction with them, they might be walking home and half an hour later with the device.
That's true. That's true. Fortunately, Apple was a pretty easy sell. You didn't have to push much because the entire marketing and complex, the ecosystem of Apple is so well known. However, you get that occasionally. But for the most part, it's a matter of building the trust in people and listening to what they're figuring out, using good general broad questions to find out what they really want. There was never any pressure. You got to sell. No, that did not happen at Apple. As a result of that, I think we actually sold quite a bit. Apple is doing pretty well. And so what we do, they say you're there really just to educate, find out people, let them talk. For example, here's what really happens all the time. Some person comes in, usually say if it's an adult comes in, and they will bring along somebody slightly younger, maybe a nephew or something, and they have the nephew saying, you need to get this kind of computer. But through probing, you find out, this is a little overkill for this middle-aged person that wants to buy a computer. He told me this is they'll say, well, what is the best computer? I said, well, it's what fits the best. If you're a farmer, is a BMW really going to be your best vehicle to buy? No, it's what are you going to do with it? And it's matching the needs. And so that comes from just personally letting people think to themselves and talk while they're speaking. So what will happen often is you see the parent or the uncle or something turn around to the younger person. I thought you said this was the best one. And so there's no best computer. Yeah. And so I think it's the same with, with a business, whatever you're going into, it's really listen, where do you really fit in that marketplace or in that person really? And that's what it is. So the big lesson there is listen carefully. There's no best anything. It's what fits.
Wow. Great advice, buddy. I love it. And just some really, now you can relate that to with Apple. I mean, obviously Apple, a big company. I love this, what you shared here. As you look at, going forward, how you present yourself is going to be so important. I mean, with AI, all the technology out there, you really got to be able to stand out. And it's not what makes you unique and what makes you more compelling to others, that when you're, if there's a demand, they're going to want to work with you and work or buy something that you represent. So what are some things that you could give advice to Gen Z in that area, if there's anything else that you haven't already shared?
Okay, like standing out, amongst the others. Yeah. Number one, whether it be in person or in a crowd, what I've found is that if you communicate well, just being able to do that, you will stand out. Little story here. I spoke about this week. Go back in time, Air Force. There I was, straight out of the back of fields. I call, it's here. And my instructor, after just hearing me speak and being one of the few people who didn't have any flying experience in the U.S. Air Force, flying high-speed jets, there I was, smell of jet fuel all over, getting evaluated. He said, after hearing me talk, you people from the rural South, your brains aren't developed enough to do this. You can't fly jets for the U.S. Air Force. You don't have the mental capacity. He said, you're used to just sitting back, being lazy and this, and you just don't have it. And so my reaction to that was not defensive, because I thought he must be right. He's the instructor here. He knows everything. So I said, as long as I'm that incapable, I'll go along and try to have a good time and enjoy these final days before they kick me out of the program. Well, wouldn't you know it, I struggled, went through. Who was I flying with on my last flight of that section? You fly T-37 jets and T-38, so fast. Was that same captain, let's call him Captain R. And he gave me the highest praise you could ever receive in the Air Force. He said nothing. So that's as good as it gets in the military. And I realized it's because I could not speak very well. He immediately had this idea that, here's another one. But then I chose to focus, going to Toastmasters, these other organizations, to try to develop speaking skills. Got some great hints from people. And all of a sudden, there I was teaching public speaking at Apple, which led to universities. And then almost every time I speak to a group at Berkeley or Notre Dame, someone comes up and says, hey, can we fly you out to our home country? We really need this. So it's been a blast. So the advice is, if you speak well, present yourself well, smile as you basic things, which aren't taught evidently very well because of whatever reason, you will stand out. And you will see your careers be just a little bit better than everybody else. Or no, that's not fair. You will see the people who speak well just rise faster. They just do. And you can develop it very fast, much faster than you believe. It's kind of like Warren Buffett said. He said, learning how to speak in public is the quickest way to increase your income by 50%. And now I'm convinced he's right.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I love it. But it's just great insights. As we, we're getting near the end of the show, but I wanted to see if there is like anything that you have not covered that you feel that you want to, really plant a seed in the listener, especially those our young professionals, to get them. This is like, looking at, we're at the beginning of the year right now, that they can be, really take charge of where they are moving forward to make a more of a difference in our world.
That's a good one. Best message, I think, is, which I've already stated, is don't ever give up, no matter what people. No one is ever going to come out and say, or very few, going to say, man, great job, you did this wonderfully. When you're affecting people, no parade is going to start. Nobody's going to come out with an award and hand it to you. You're just going to see people scratching their heads and moving forward. So I still go back to flat out, do not give up. Don't give up. No matter how people might humiliate you, call you names. I've seen it happen so many times. And I think especially when you get just after you have an idea, something you want to move forward, and don't go to your grave with regrets. Who was it? Was it Emerson said, most people go to the graves with the songs in their hearts? Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. It's there. And people need it. People so need it. They need the ability to speak, and they really want it. They really want this. And there's a huge need. So the interpersonal communication, yes, we lose a lot over the internet. Matter of fact, this week I'm hearing apps for people to learn to speak in dating, right? They're creating AI bots right now in this group that I'm with this week, and people said, well, we need this. Young techie guys, they said, we don't know how to talk to girls, so let's create a bot that coaches us on how to talk to girls. Matter of fact, it's a young lady who's created this. I think it's pretty cool there, right? So don't give up on the interpersonal and the public communication. It's so critical. If you have it, really quickly acquired, much easier than you expect. If you have that, it's just this powerful little tool, like going from a 3-cylinder El Cheapo car to a beautiful new, name your favorite car. Porsche. Going from a cheap car.
I'm a Lexus, so I'm a Lexus guy.
Okay, we are too. We've had a couple of them, yeah. That's it. It just gives that much more power and a confidence.
Buddy, this has just been really great insights, genuine, authentic from the heart. I love, what you're all about and helping and committed to helping this generation really develop a strong platform and a foundation to do more in our world, to inspire the future generations to come. What is the best way that they can get in contact with you? What are you up to, and anything that you'd like to offer, provide them here?
Sure. Easiest way is just on LinkedIn or my website, buddyburke.com. But LinkedIn is a great way. We could communicate there pretty easily. And also, if you like to get your toe into the water, I've set up a free series of emails. If you go to my website, buddyburke.com, and sign up for it, put in your email, and no, I will not spam you. I will never give your email to anybody else. It's just between you and me. I will send you an email every day for 40 days with a 5-minute speaking tip. And that's a good way to get started in the entire process. If you want to become better, and you'll see it happen very fast. And I defy you after 40 days to email me and say, Bud, this didn't work. If you want to be 3 times the speaker you were before, I challenge you to, or invite you to accept this invitation.
Wow. Awesome. We highly encourage everybody listening to take that up, reach out to Buddy on his buddyburke.com. Take advantage of that email that he's providing in terms of value, and then also connect with him on LinkedIn. Buddy, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be with us here on Business Influencers.
Thank you, Chris. It's really been fun.
Thank you. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here at Business Influencers. Again, we are committed to bringing in subject matter experts like Buddy, sharing their words of insights to help elevate you and your business level influence to the next level. It's through the power of influence we can encourage and inspire others to do bigger and better things in the industries and to the people that they serve through their businesses. Till then, everybody have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you here next week at the same time. Take care.